Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is 8th February 2024. In this video, let us generate demand and supply zones for bullish trade setup and bearish trade setup, especially for monthly income trade and weekly income trade. And a small announcement, please. If this is your first visit, please understand we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. And all the training lessons we have kept in the playlist supply demand zone price action course. In this playlist, scroll down to the bottom of the page. There, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are available in an order. Even the upcoming lessons also will be placed in this playlist. I am providing the link to this playlist in this YouTube video description. Click on the link and you will get into this page. I have also provided the link to our Telegram group in this YouTube video description. Please join in the Telegram group so that each time when we release a new video, we will update in that group. Please make use of this opportunity and strengthen your skills. Now let us get into the report generation. So in the supply demand zone top-down strategy builder, first let us generate a bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. In monthly income trade, the LTF zone is daily. So that is the reason why our entry time frame is daily. And the entry zone should be demand zone because it is a bullish trade setup. And in bullish or bearish trade setup parameter on daily time frame, you need to select the parameter bullish. Now let us filter. Now it has generated a big list. I will keep on scrolling, but I will be giving you only few seconds time. So you need to pause the video and then you need to study the parameters of the stocks you want to refer. Let me scroll down. So total 100 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup. But because it is not possible for us to analyze all these stocks, let us filter the list step by step by adding some parameters. The first parameter I am going to add, let me look for only fresh demand zones. For that, in the strategy builder, I am selecting the parameter test count, the last parameter here, the test count. In that and daily time frame, I am setting the value as 0. Minimum value 0 and maximum value 0, and let me filter. Now the list is come down. Now it is generated all the demand zones having the test count here in this column test. Now the test count is showing 0 for all the demand zones. Maybe few stocks might be having rejection count. Rejection count also includes a test, already tested zone, but rejection count is always a strong price action clue, indicates there is a strong order flow in that zone. So we don't want to miss such kind of zones, even though they are tested. So that's why rejection count I did not set 0. This is the point you have to observe. So let me scroll down. Now 100 stocks are come down to 68 stocks. All these 68 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade, and all these zones are having fresh demand zones. Because still the number is big, now based on the reward, because this is a monthly income trade, at least I expect a demand zone to supply zone, a minimum 5% reward should be there. So that's why I want to filter the stocks based on the reward. Here we have a parameter minimum range percent. This is a demand zone distal line to supply zone distal line, D to D range. This is nothing but reward. So in daily time frame, I am setting the value 5. Now let me filter. Now all these demand zones are fresh zones and also having a reward a minimum of 5%. Demand zone to supply zone or demand zone to all-time high, the percentage should be 5% minimum. If you look into all the demand zones, they are having a minimum 5%. Many stocks are having very good percentages. But let me scroll down Now total number of stocks come down to 44. So any favorite stocks are there in this list? You can look into those stocks. Still, the 44 is also a big number. That's why we are using one more parameter, that is the stocks near the demand zone based on the percentage. Let us generate 5 different reports. Stocks within 1% level, within 2% level, up to maximum 5% level. That means today's candle's close should be within 1% level to the demand zone. That report we will generate first. For that we have a parameter called, here the last parameter, maximum price percent to reach the zone. So on daily time frame I am setting wall. That means within 1% range from demand zone, within 1% range, any stocks are closed today. Those stocks we will filter. No stocks are there. Now we do one thing. Within 2% level, 3 stocks are filtered. Today's price is closed within, they are nearest, 2% near to the demand zone. But also look into the direction. Signal type indicates the lower time frame price direction. See, the first one is moving towards the supply zone. Second one moving towards the all-time high. Third one is again moving towards the supply zone. These R underscore SZ, they are high liquidity supply zones. So currently price, due to any reason price turn back and give an entry in the zone, immediately you have to catch that zone. Because all these stocks are supporting bullish trade setup. So now let's go back and we will see stocks near to 3% range. Within the 3% before the demand zone. So in this parameter, currently the value is there in the daily time frame, we will change it to 3. So 8 stocks are there within the 3%. If one of these stocks tomorrow, if they reach to your demand zone, immediately we can catch that stock. We can go for a long trade. But remember, before you go to the long trade, you have to fine tune the zone. 2 reasons. One is to minimize the risk and get the maximum reward. And second thing is to check the quality of the zone. By fine tuning the zone till 5 minutes level, if till 5 minutes level, if you are able to identify a zones, the order flow is nothing but our demand zones. Inside daily, you should identify a 75. Inside 75, you should identify a 15-minute zone. Inside the 15 minutes, you should identify a 5-minute zone. If you are able to identify, that is a good quality zone. Suppose 15-minute zone is missing. Maybe there are higher chances that zone will be violated. Or maybe 1-minute zone is having 8 base candles or 7 base candles. 5-minute zone is there. Inside daily we have a 75, inside 75 we have a 15 minutes, inside 15 minutes we have 5 minutes. But that 5 minutes, let us assume it is having 7 candles. There are higher chances that the zone will be violated. That means the price structure is not good. So that in such kind of situation, even though it is a bullish trade setup, we don't take trade. See, always we want to select the stocks that are having the best price structure. Even though they are all supporting bullish trade setup, even though they are the fresh zones, even though the reward is good, we have 5% reward, not RR, the reward. RR you have to fine tune. That is there in our hand. If you minimize the risk, obviously you get the best reward. You get the best RR. So you should not forget while analyzing all these stocks. Okay, these are the stocks within 3% level. But is there any stock moving towards the demand zone? No, all these stocks are either moving towards all-time high or towards the supply zones. But there is a possibility. Sometimes stock, while moving towards the supply zone, all of a sudden they turn back and give an entry into demand zone. Again, they move up very fast. That's why we want to monitor all these stocks. So let me go back now. Let me increase the percent to 4%. From 3, I'm changing to 4%. Within 4%, how many stocks? 9 stocks are there. This is the list. Now we will see within 5% how many are there. Before that, anything moving to demand zone? No. And finally, the last one is within 5% level, how many stocks are there? In maximum price percent to reach the zone, I'm changing 4% to 5%. Now 11 stocks are filtered. Here within 5% level stock, one stock is moving towards the demand zone at lower time frame. That is ICICI Bank. Currently this price is traveling from daily supply zone to daily demand zone. So you have to keep an eye on ICICI Bank. And this is having 7% reward from supply zone. Already it is moving towards the demand zone. From 7%, it came down to 5% range. And if the stock fell another 5% or within 5%, definitely, maybe between 4% to 5%, probably within that percent, it will reach demand zone. So from this list, this is the only one currently moving from supply zone to demand zone. Remaining all stocks are moving from demand zone to either supply zone or all-time high. It doesn't mean they always move towards the all-time high or demand zone without any stop. Sometimes few stocks may turn back. Suddenly they come to the demand zone, give an entry, and again they move up. We should not miss such kind of stocks. Okay, this is about a bullish trade setup for monthly time frame. Now let us look into bearish trade setup for monthly time frame. Mostly you get a very few stocks because all the stocks are near all-time high. You may find very few stocks. So on daily time frame, bearish trade setup. So entry zone should be supply zone. And in bullish or bearish trade setup parameter on daily time frame, I have to select bearish. Let us filter. No stocks are there. There are no stocks currently supporting bearish trade setup on daily time frame for monthly income trade. Okay, now let us move on to weekly income trade. In weekly income trade, our entry time frame should be 75 minutes. That is LTF time frame. Because it is a bullish trade setup on weekly income trade, I am selecting entry zone as a demand zone. And in bullish or bearish trade setup, in daily time, not daily, this is 75 minutes, weekly income trade. So 75 minutes, I am setting a bullish. Entry time frame is 75. Our bullish or bearish trade setup, 75 minutes time frame should be bullish. And the entry zone should be demand zone because it is bullish. See, we got again a very big list, but I will keep on scrolling so that you can refer any of the stocks you are having interest. Don't forget to pause the video whenever you want to refer because I'm giving you very few seconds while scrolling down. So let me scroll down and let me continue. So total 77 stocks are filtered. Because this is a big list, so we will follow the sequence we followed earlier for bullish trade setup, monthly income trade. So the first filter is fresh zones. So the test count I am setting to 0. In this time I am 75 minutes we are setting. Earlier we set on daily time frame. Now in the 75 minutes time frame, because that is our entry time frame, that is LTF zone, lower time frame zone. So in 75 minutes, test count should be 0 and 0, minimum 0, maximum 0. Let me filter. Now the list is reduced. Let me scroll down. Now the list is showing 44. Now the number is reduced from 77 to 44. Still 44 is a big number. Now we will filter based on the reward. Because it is a WIT income trade, we will look for a minimum 3% reward. MIT trade we have looked for 5%, minimum. Now here let us look for minimum 3%. So what I am going to do in range, D2D range, minimum range, that is nothing but reward. So here on the 75 minutes I am setting the value as 3. So that means I am expecting a minimum of 3% reward between demand and supply zone. But risk you will be fine tuning. You know how to fine tune. You already learned in lesson 16, zone confluence, how to fine tune the zone and reduce the risk. Okay, now I filtered by setting the reward as 3%. See, now all of a sudden the number has come down. It's come down to 21 stocks. Excellent. Maybe if anybody is having time, you can go through all these 21 stocks. Or we will do 3 different filters near to the zone, near to the demand zone. Within 1% range, 2% range and 3% range, we will see the stocks. See, I can directly set 3% range and filter the stocks. But in case those who want very even more close, that is 1%, you may not be knowing which stock is very near to the zone. That's why first I will set the maximum price percent to reach the zone. On 75 minutes, I am setting 1%. That means within 1% to the 75 minute zone, any stocks are there. That means today's price is closed, very close. That is within 1% to the 75 minutes. Yes, 3 stocks are just 1% before the 75 minute zone. ABB, Indigo and Power Finance Corporation, PFC. In that ABB is moving near, it is moving towards the demand zone, near the demand zone. So that means the LTF price direction, 75 minutes price direction is from supply zone to the demand zone. Definitely ABB may reach tomorrow. It doesn't mean other stocks won't reach. Even though they are moving supply zone or all-time high, sometimes all of a sudden the price will come to the zone and again it will go up. That possibility is also there. Okay, within 1% we identified 3. Let us see within 2%. Out of those 21 stocks, are 21 or 22? Okay, now within 2%, how many are there? These 6 stocks are there. Now 3 more stocks are added. JK Cement, SBI Life and Shriram Finance. JK Cement is again moving towards the demand zone. Shriram Finance is also moving towards the demand zone. They are all trying to reach the demand zone. And all these demand zones are fresh zones. Even rejection count also 0. But remember, you have to fine tune the zone before taking the trade. You have to confirm the price structure inside the zone is perfect. How? Because it is a 75. Inside 75, you should identify 15-minute zone. Inside 15 minutes, you should identify 5-minute zone. If all these structures are good, you can confirm it is a good zone for trading purpose. Okay, now last filter, 3% level. How many stocks are there before the 3%? So in the 75 minutes time frame, I am changing to 2% to 3%. Let me filter. Now 10 stocks are there. From 6, 10. That means 4 more stocks are added into this list. So please go through this list and you identify some good stocks, or if you have any favorite stocks, you can also identify. This is a 75 minutes LTF time frame for weekly income trade, bullish trade setup. All these stocks are having a minimum 3% reward. If you minimize the risk, if you fine tune the zone, demand zone, risk will be minimized. That way you get even more reward. That way you get best RR also. Because everyday videos, that is what I am explaining every day. By fine tuning, always I am getting a good RR. Okay, now let us go back. Not go back, this is the final. Now we have to generate the fourth report, bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. So our zone, LTF zone should be 75 minutes. This time entry zone is supply zone because it is going to be bearish trade setup. Supply zone in bullish or bearish trade setup parameter in 75 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Now let me filter. All the bearish stocks are filtered. 13 stocks are there. 13 is a reasonable number to analyze. Still, if you feel this number is big or you want stocks near to the zone and expecting a minimum 3% reward, how many stocks if you want to filter based on that. Anyway, you are able to see in this report, you can pause and watch, but still we will filter. The first filter, what is the first filter? The test count should be 0. Which test count? Supply zone test count. 75 minutes, 0 and 0. How do we know it is a supply zone test count? Because entry zone we selected as a supply zone. All these supply zones, the test count is already 0. Okay, anyway, 0, check. All these zones are having 0, but some stocks are having rejection count. Okay, let me go back. And then we will set the reward. Reward means minimum range percent. So here the 75 minutes, we will set 75 minutes supply zone to demand zone, a minimum 3% reward we are expecting. See, now the number is reduced to 4 from. So out of these 4, how many are near to the range? Within 1% level, any is there? Maybe tomorrow we will get a chance to get an entry. So for that, I am selecting a maximum price percent to reach the supply zone should be, and 75 minutes, 1% I am setting. No stocks are there. Now within 2% level, let us check. No stocks are there. Then we will check within the 3% level. No stocks are there. Entry zone is supply zone of bullish or bearish trade setup 75 minutes is bearish. The range, minimum range is 3%. But all these stocks are not 3%. So what I do, I will remove this minimum range 3%. Let us check. Within 1%, any stocks are there. Within 1% to the zone. So now there is no reward verification. What happened? So these two stocks are there. But reward is 2.45%. Another one is 2.67. Probably you have a good RR here. And here if you want a good RR, you need to fine tune the zone. Then probably you will get 1:3 or 1:5 RR you will get. But your reward is a 2.4 and 2.6, close to. One is 2.5% and another one is close to 3%. Okay, now let us see within 2% range how many stocks are there. Maximum price percent to reach the zone within 2%. 8 stocks are there within the 2%. Your reward is very poor, Bajaj Finance. You may get RR, but overall reward you are expecting. If you fine tune, still risk will be reduced. Your reward will be improved. Maybe up to 2% your reward, may not be 3, up to 2% it will improve. This 1.3 very low reward is 0 reward means here for this stock demand and supply zones are overlapped. That's why 0 reward. Check how you can fine tune. Here more risk is there. If you fine tune at least 0.5%, 0.6% level, probably you will get 2.5% reward. See here. Even though the initial reward is 1%, because the risk is very high, if you take an entry deep inside this zone, probably your risk might be reduced to 0.5% or 0.6. See, at the time, this remaining 1% reward will be added here. That way, you may get a 2% reward. See, these are the techniques. By fine tuning the zone, we can get best reward. Okay, within 3%, probably you may get all stocks. Let us check. Within 3% before the zone. Same stocks. Okay, within 2% and 3%. That means between 2% and 3%, no stocks are closed. All these stocks are within the 2% range only. Maybe definitely you may get an entry tomorrow in one of these stocks. So this information is useful for those who are planning trades based on WIT income trade and MIT income trade, especially for swing or positional traders. And those who are looking for cash trades, probably you have to look for only long trades only, because you are carrying the positions overnight. If you want to take within the intraday, you can go for short trades as well as long trades for cash trades, rather than going for futures or options. Because intraday, you get margin amount by the broker. But overnight positions, if you want to carry, brokers won't give you any margins for short trades. You have to go for only long trades. Remember these points. Hope you will make use of this information. And sorry, I forgot to say something. Okay, I hope this information is useful for your further study and analysis. So let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.